Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome viewers once again to my channel. Those of you that are existing subscribers, you are most welcome. Those that are new to the channel, you are also welcome. If you are new, then please don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get notifications of the new videos that I may produce. So I am continuing with my journey, and I am at one of the places where I was in the previous video, at a street called Bowling Dyke. So if you remember, a dyke I described as some sort of dam, and then we discovered this, and I am told that this is part of what's known as Hebble Brook. So brooks are sorts of smaller streams that in the olden days people used to either wash things, and of course they were the start of industry. So today's journey, I am actually going to show you this, or parts of this wonderful complex known as Dean Clough. So that is its original name, and in my time it used to be known as the Crossley's Mills complex, because most of these mills at that time were owned by the family-run business called Crossley Carpets, who dominated the carpet industry for almost more than 100 years really. So the complex is over almost half a mile really, and here you've got some examples of some of the buildings. Some of them are what they call proper mills, and the others I know they call sheds, because they were used for storage of equipment and obviously raw materials. So I am going to stop every so often because it's going to take me so long to get to the place that I want to get to, which is an exhibition really, or come gallery, where there are some old pictures of the Crossley carpets. But before I get there, I just wanted to show you how this sort of the place contrasts really. Here we've got the flyover over this complex, and then in the background is the North Bridge Leisure Centre. So the Crossley Carpets has quite a bit of significance for me and my family. We knew plenty of people that worked there, and then eventually when the times got tough, they were made redundant. And as I say, when I was at a junior school in Boothtown, which is the area up there, they brought us down here to show us some carpets being made. So it was one of the first places that I visited. So I'm going to stop here and then carry on at the other complex, because there are a few alleyways to go through. So as you can see, this is called Fernley Mill. Okay, so I did say that most of them were Crossley mills, but of course that wasn't the case. That we are talking the 1850s, and at that time there were a number of mill owners and manufacturers, and one other major manufacturer or person who owned mills was, other than Mr. Fernley, was a gentleman called Edward Ackroyd, and he had a number of mills. But as I say, the Crossley family eventually took over or built many mills. So I'm going to stop the video just for while I get to the other end. So I've just moved on to another part of the building. I was down there to start off with, that is the end of that road. Now on to a new road called Old Lane, and this takes us to other parts of the complex. So as you can see up there, there's a number 7. So there are quite a number of entrances, or gates as they call them. So when we were back there at the brook, those were the gates 5 to 5, I think, I've forgotten now. I think they were 1 to 4 in this direction, and then obviously gate number 7 is on this side. Oh, sorry, we've got some more numbers there. 6 and 7 are on this side, and presumably 1, 2, 3 and 4 are on that side. So I am going to go right to the other end over there. So as you can see, that is going to be quite a walk. So again, I will stop the video and then show you the complex from there. But you can appreciate, you know, I'm having to move the camera up, and that just emphasizes the size of the complex. Okay, and you know, we have some stone that hasn't been cleaned, so you can see, you know, how it used to look originally. And then of course we've got the modern, or the cleaned up buildings here. So along the way I've found this information plaque, and you get an idea of the types of businesses that we are. They've divided them up into what's called work and health and beauty, and we've got some galleries in there, and we've got some shops in there, and as always, wonderful direction posts to guide you. As you can see, there is a direction to a theatre. That's the actual place that I am going to, and as you can see, there were mills belonging to a Mr. Fernley and a Mr. Fletcher. Okay, and we have a number of car parks which I know housed you know, sheds and buildings. Okay, so I've stopped once again to show you again the size of this complex. So we have a modern car park here. I do remember that there was a large mill there that has been demolished, and as you can see, there are other buildings in the background. There's a mill called D Mill. So a lot of them were organized in what's known, well, alphabetic order. So this mill is called Bowling Mill, and you know, you can appreciate the size of the complex, and you know, it has a lot of businesses inside it. Okay, so I've just stopped outside this area. So as you can see, there is a restaurant here called Babar Khan, which is a really nice restaurant. And then coming back to the bowling mill, there are there are a number of businesses, and you have a hairdressers and a restaurant there again. But it's this building here, the one that says True North on it, that I am going to be entering, because that houses the gallery. And if you notice on the bottom, there is also an entrance for the Viaduct Theatre. Now, many people think that this building is called True North. That is not the case. The letters here have been welded onto the building, and they were part of an exhibition, I think it was in either Newcastle or Middlesbrough, to highlight, you know, the plight of the North. And then once that finished, the owner of this place, who is called Sir Ernest Hall, bought this, and you know, he is an art collector, and he put it on this. And talking of art, then this building houses a lot of pieces of art. So there are paintings and pictures here, and then also on the outside there are also many sculptures and pieces of art, or modern art as many people would call it, that are either as sculptures or within buildings. So I think I'm best talking about the Crossleys once I'm inside, so I'm going to go inside the building and then talk a little bit more. Hey guys, I went into the building there to get permission to film, and just show you some of the outside. So here we see more of the brook going past. So, you know, in summer this is a really nice setting. So if you are looking for a day out, then Dean Clough is the place and to come in. And I'm going to go inside because the place I've come to see is called the Lego room, and I've been given permission to film inside. So as you enter, you see a site map, and then you've got some examples of the works that are going on. So again, I'll stop the video at various occasions so that I'm not making the video too long. It is already 11 minutes long. My target is to make it about 25 minutes, so we'll see what I can do. So upon entry there is a reception area. As you can see, this is the main reception area, and it can be reached at this email address or Twitter address. Okay, so what I'll do is firstly show the main rooms and then go on to the Lego room, which houses the exhibition for past photographs of how the mill used to look. So I don't know whether you can see that. So as you can see, this is an old painting, and if I could find the date of it, it's 1953, which of course would be its heyday, and that's the main building that I remember when I was brought down here as a child to do some drawings, and then obviously dressed up as Victorians. So I just close this door so you get an idea of how it used to look. So we are under COVID conditions still, but hopefully after the end of this month, then you can buy things from here. So there are various galleries. So this room here is called the Crossley gallery. I don't know whether you can make that out, and it's got many examples. At the present moment there are some students in there, and I'm not allowed to film, but on the wall of this building we've got works by various artists either on the wall or as exhibitions. So I'll pan back again, see how it looks at the reception before actually moving into the Lego room. So again, I've stopped on the way just to show you some, of the types of pieces of work that there are. I don't know whether that's going to come through. So this is a plan made by an architect in 1860, and the light, etc., is rather poor, but it shows you who the owners were. So I'm going to have to climb a fair amount of stairs to get to the place that I want to, but I thought I'd just show you this along the way. So I'm going to do a quick span once again. A lot of modern art in this direction. Okay guys, so this is the exhibition that I've come to see, and once again outside there are many paintings, and there is a painter in residence who will do some work for you, but this is what I've come to show you really. So first of all, what you can admire is this absolutely splendid recreation of the whole complex in Lego. This is what it looks like today. It is called Dean Clough, which is its original name really. I think Dean means valley and Clough in Olden English means ravine, so it's the valley of the ravine. So it is, you know, this is at the bottom of a valley, and obviously water flows down from the valleys, and then the geographers amongst you know that the various forms of water are either streams, brooks, and the other names. So this is a wonderful creation. So whilst I walk around, I'll sort of quickly tell you the information that I know about the Crossleys, and you could almost start it as a once upon a time story really. So once upon a time, Mum and Dad, who were known as Martha and John Crossley, so we're talking 18th century, and they were hard workers and working in the making woolen products, because that is the main product of the area, and then eventually, of course, being very, very successful. John Crossley leased one of the mills here, and the rest, as they say, is history. They had three sons, again, John Jr., Frank Crossley, and Joseph Crossley. And between them, the three of them, contributed an awful lot to the history and the wealth of Halifax. Although John, the junior, actually didn't stay in Halifax all of his life. He obviously learned the trade because they were apprenticed in the carpet industry. And then eventually he went off to America. And the other two, Frank and Joseph, stayed in Halifax and obviously created the success that we have. So I'm going to keep walking so that you get an idea of the sorts of things whilst I talk about, the other things that I know. I think, I've read various articles about them, and my conclusion is that Francis was really the sort of Bill Gates of his time, really. And the reason for that is that I wouldn't really describe Bill Gates as someone who knows computers inside out, but he knows how to employ the right people. And that's where the money's made, really, in the licensing and what's the other word? Getting copyright for certain products. And that was the case with Francis, really. He employed, the right people, and they improved the machinery that was produced at the time, and obviously made their fortune. So the fortune continued to be made, I would say, right up to the 1960s, of course. And then we had another era where we had, competition from other countries. So normally you would say the competition came from China, but in this case it was actually the rest of Europe and America. And eventually it was an American company that actually took over Crossley's, and they couldn't survive the recessions of the 80s. And of course, earlier to that, there was a recession in the 70s, which really was the time when Crossley's really declined, as did all of the other what's the right word? Textile industry in this area. So again, the the American company, I think they were called Carpets International, decided to pull out. And just like the Peace Hall, there was talk of this being pulled down, but thankfully the current owners, Sir Ernest Hall and his company, took it over, and now we have this wonderful complex with lots and lots of businesses within it. And they're really into the arts, so we have a lot of arts businesses here, as well as the traditional businesses such as insurance and banking. The Halifax Bank has an office here, and then other insurance companies as well. I'm just going to pause whilst I get a grip of what the information here is. Okay, so as you can see, there are lots of photographs and plaques to show you the history of the mills and pictures of the mill through the time period. So here we have something from 1845, or a photograph or an artist's impression of how the mill was in 1845, and then right, I don't know when it was actually completed. I think it was in the 1860s. Okay, some more modern pictures here, and then we've got some pictures from the 50s. Sorry, this is from the 70s, when they started to demolish the place, really. And then here is some example of the earlier buildings, and this one is actually dated 1930s. So all sorts of machinery for the weaving and the other processes, the finishing and other processes. So if you are down here, you can take your time and look at them. I like this sort of thing. This is an aerial photograph of the whole area, and this is taken again in the 30s, so you can see how built up it was. So another example of the processes of carpet making. And then here you can see that it wasn't all mechanical. There are horses taking away the finished product. And then so here there is a painting that was done in 1990 showing the building. And then on the other side we have more modern paintings, so you can see how many of the parts have weathered, and these are in colour, so that replicates the 80s. Okay, and then as I say, they started to demolish some of the mills, and this to make way for either car parks or smaller buildings. Okay, so this was taken in 1983. That is how the bowling building looked at that time, and being occupied by a business called Wren and Bennett. Another one that shows some of the sheds, as they call it. The sheds were more modern because obviously they needed storage space. So this shows a whole group of sheds, but what you notice here is the carriageway. So the carriageway actually goes along the whole stretch of Dean Clough. So if we look at this, they're creating a lot of the lift system. So we now have lifts internally and externally. Here we have the dignitaries coming in. There's a picture of Margaret Thatcher there, a picture of staff, and an example of other types of businesses that there are. It's obviously a motor mechanics a business, and then one of the chimneys that has been saved. Okay guys, so I hope you've liked this exhibition that I've come to show you. So what I'm going to do is going to go outside and then see if I want to film something else, and then end the journey from there really. Okay, thank you for watching viewers. I'm going to end the journey today and call this part 1 of the video. So as you can see, I've come out of where I was earlier from the exhibition centre, and I'm at a higher vantage point, and from here we can come on to the main road. So if you can see, that is the North Bridge further there, and we have some discoveries to do, you know, further up there, because there are car parks with the exhibition to see, and then there's some more exhibitions and areas of Dean Clough to see down there. So that is where I will be next time. So until the next time, I will say thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe and share my videos. Look after each other, stay well. Okay, अपना ख्याल रखना, दूसरों को ख्याल रखना, दुआओं में याद रखना. Until the next time, goodbye, Allah Hafiz.